Hi, good morning. This is Sport for Real. Legion of Steel. What's going on, man? You play rap football with pads on nowadays? Hey, that's a good observation, man. But when they do put a hit on somebody, they want to call them for a penalty. That's what we're talking about today. This targeting foul. Um, how many times have you seen a heated contest where a guy come up to make a tackle and it's a legal form tackle and they call him for a penalty? Well, the basic way to teach somebody how to tackle is when you come up, you wrap, your head slides off to the side. Basic. But the helmet is for the slide. Just in case you don't do it quite right, then you don't have any damage. That's the purpose of the helmet. But to say that you're trying to hurt a guy because you come up for a form tackle and you hit the guy and your head slide off to the side and you make some kind of contact above the head and neck area, and that's a penalty. Come on, man. Now you're putting the defenders in a bad situation because now he's thinking about how he needs to hit this guy. And that little split second of indecision might be enough for the offensive guy to put a move on you. Whereas still, the targeting call never took effect for offensive players. So as a defender, I'm coming up to make a tackle, and at the last second, you change the picture. Well, if you're trying to tackle a guy like me, that's pretty much what it was going to be. I gave you the impression I was going to come this way. I'm going to come right at you, and at the last second, I'm going to change the picture. And you hit me wrong. Now you got a penalty. I never agreed with that, and I'm an offensive player. So I know the defensive players hate the fact that this targeting call exists. Now, I'm all for taking some of the, how you doing, Selmo? The negative stuff out of the game. For instance, in the 80s, up to the 80s, it was fairly common to see, even into the mid-90s, where a running back would come and the defender is coming down the line, the running back goes down, and a second later, the defender falls on the back. Why? Well, coach said you need to get to the football, and what better way to show coach that you got to the football than to put a contact on the back? Well, they never called that. It was obvious late penalties, extra hits on the back or the ball carrier that they didn't need to take, but they never called that penalty. But then when all this concussion come out, and you start to slowly see it go away, and now you come up with the targeting call, and then now they got the hip drop tackle. All that stuff was legal. You get the guy on the ground as best you can, other than grabbing him by the face mask and twisting his neck or something like that. Hell, back in the 50s, they used to clothesline people. They got rid of that too. So most of the brutality is gone from the game. But when you start fooling with the rules that are basic to the game, you cannot legislate contact out of the game. There's going to be some minimal contact with the head, and there's just no way around it. Now, you had guys like, for the Cowboys, Dennis Thurman used to be bad about it. That crown of the helmet thing they talk about, where he used to hit people like that. And he would blur the line a little bit with that contact like that. And he never got penalized for it. They called attention to it sometimes, but he never really got in trouble for that. So based on what I'm saying to you, those guys that we know as greats from the past, they couldn't play today because they wouldn't last very long. And if they play college football, they're going to get thrown out because of targeting. But there's good news. Legion says next year the NFL will make them play a game in dresses at Disney World. Look, man, you're missing the point there, Legion. Not only will they have dresses, they're going to have lipstick, makeup, they have their hair done, and some high heel spikes, man. That's where it's going, man. They don't want to play no damn football. It's the image of playing football. And it's just these modern athletes in general. I got this baseball team. Got a couple guys on there, man. They look like they Hall of Famers, man. They got their white shoes on and clothes are pressed. Got the helmet with the pro thing with the go by the jaw. Can't play a lick, man. They just look the part. Look great. You can't play, man. If you can't play, I don't care how good you look, you are looking ridiculous. So I don't want to get off into that. But there's good news about this targeting thing. The NCAA is determining that they're going to change the rule on that. Whereas if you get targeted in the first half of a game, you will have to sit out the second half of the game and not be eligible until the next game. Well, the rule change that they're coming up with, you only have to sit out. Let me see how it goes. You will get warned pretty much. So if you get a targeting call the second half of a game, you get thrown out of that game, then you come back and play the beginning of the next game instead of having to sit out the whole first half. That's the rule that they're proposing. But if you get a second targeting call, then the rules that they have now would apply. And you got a MERS? I don't have no MERS. I don't know what that is. Unless you're talking about the purse to go with the high heels for these modern day players, what me and Legion were talking about. But I think that's a better rule for the players. If you're going to throw me out, let me come back to the next game. Not only are you affecting this game, but having to sit out a half of a next game could make the difference between winning and losing. And a lot of times it has. So to get rid of that part of it, I'm fine with that. Now, if you get another targeting call, pretty much the first one was, a warning, we're watching you. You go out and do it again, then we're going to give you the penalty as it is now. But like I said before, the problem with all of that is it's very easy to pick up a targeting call. I mean, you come in to make a tackle, you go down low to hit a guy, and all of a sudden he drops low on you, and now the picture has changed, and you hit him higher than your attack point. And the launching thing, unless a guy is diving head first, using his helmet as a spear, I don't see how you can get a launch call. Just to give you an example, my high school, I know about the play and I didn't see it live. I have seen it. There's this guy at my school. They had won the state championship. This was a championship game, and early in the game, one of the star players for the other team was the focal point of that team. Big tight end, All-American tight end. Well, on film, you can see the routes that they run, and they run the plays during the week to show you what's coming. They ran this particular play. This cornerback came off his man and ran full speed at this tight end who they knew was going to throw the ball. Just as the ball got there, pow! The helmet went one way, the ball went another way. And it was a great hit, a great big hit, and it changed the whole trajectory of that game. Not that it would have mattered anyway, because this team was the better team, clearly, but the other team quit right then and there. They didn't want to play no more after that. And that's the value of a big hit. And if you legislate the big hit out of the game, then you just helping teams that aren't, they can't handle the physicality. But the point I brought that up is about the launching. That wasn't launching. That was good film study. You know they were going to throw the ball to this guy. You saw it. You reacted to it. And you got there just as the ball did. There's no way that you could say this is a penalty because the guy did his homework. What they want things to be is kind of like flag football. Kind of let the guy catch it. Let him turn around and see where he is. And then you make the tackle accordingly. No aggressiveness whatsoever. Now you think that's funny. Pay attention to some of the games. I've actually seen this past football season where the defender sat there and waited to see if the guy was going to catch the ball before he made a tackle. We never would have got on the field playing like that in my day because you got to react to the ball, get to the ball, break it up, force to play, whatever you got to do. But you don't stand there and let the guy catch the ball and expect to stay on the field. And that's just how far the game has digressed since I played. And again, I got a problem with it. Selmo says Warren Sapp and Coach Prime parted ways yesterday. Well, I hadn't heard anything about that, but I tell you what, I've said this before. Prime is not long in Colorado. Either one of three things. He's going to have a winning season, and he's going to ride off into the sunset. He's going to have a losing season, and they want to try to get rid of him. Or his health going to make him give it up. either way, one of those three things are going to strike bolder this year. They say he's not on the hot seat, but they got a new AD out there, a young fellow, to operate that NIL landscape. And the problem with that is he may have his own idea. And if they don't win this year, or they average or middle of the road, whatever you want to call it, I just don't think it's going to sustain that staff because in the end, with all the health problems he's had over the years, who's to say nothing else won't pop up? I told you this before. If I'm coaching and I'm starting to have these health problems and knowing over the history of mankind, and once you start getting illnesses and sicknesses one after the other, that's not a good thing. It's not going to get much better. And the last thing I want to do is be carried off the sideline, and that'd be it for me. No, 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 no. I'm going off the sideline the same way I came in. Now, Warren Sapp, I don't know what happened with that, but you would think that they would get more production with all the high-powered staff he got in there. Marshall Faulk, running back coach, Hall of Famer. Sapp is a Hall of Famer. Dion's a Hall of Famer. There's an awful lot of knowledge running around that building. But for all the things that I hear coming out of that area, Selmo, it got me thinking about the old things people used to say about great athletes. A lot of the great athletes survive primarily off ability. Now, these guys here are very intelligent and they do their film study and all of that. But as great as they are, if you're a great player, you're not going to do nearly as much film study as a guy who can't play at all or is not as talented as you. He's got to compensate for his deficit by putting in more work. And I think that may be something that might be working against Colorado. They're not putting in as much work as the guy that's not as talented, or they don't have as much firepower on the staff as Colorado has. And it's something to consider. So by parting ways with a Warren Sapp, maybe he's not hungry as the defensive line coach at Utah State or Sacramento State or wherever. Hunger is a desire to satisfy. And if you're a Hall of Famer, you made lots of money, maybe you still got lots of money or whatever. Maybe you're not as hungry as the guy down the street at Grand Canyon State or wherever, trying to move up to the next level. Like a Kurt Signetti did, came up out of nowhere, making small money, and all of a sudden, boom, making big money. Now, he wants to prove it by continuing to work hard. But once a guy reaches the top, the Hall of Fame, made all the money he made, you have to question whether the hunger is there. And you don't have that hunger, and then you start to get sick on top of it, you have to question how long somebody's going to be there. And that's the only thing that I see about that. I think if they do win 9 games, Selmo, it's still, he would ride off into the sunset with those 9 wins. I thought he was going to ride off when his sons left. That would have been a perfect time for him to leave or go take another job. But Colorado does not bring in that NIL money as some schools do, and it clearly hurts them. But you would think still, with the intelligence and know-how of the staff that they have, that they will get more production out of what they get. And that's just something to keep an eye on, and I don't know how much longer he's going to be there. All right, leading the steer, it's on the quarterback not to put the wide receiver in a bad spot. That's true, but a lot of times you put a little pressure on the quarterback, he's trying to get rid of the ball, and that will put the wide receiver in a spot, but the quarterback is trying to save his neck. You get rid of the ball because they know they're going to kill him. And what they used to try to kill a quarterback, now is going to grab his flag and, like Legion said, put a dress on him. Bucks need to leave. Okay, we read that. D Nice, what's going on, man? Clippers who? Look, man, I told you about that regular season stuff, man. Anybody can win the regular season. When you have to play in the series, what you going to do then? Talked all that trash last year, and I know I'm beating a dead horse here. Until you show me that you're going to win like you talking, I'm always jig at you about that. So maybe you have a better playoff run this year, but I don't think so. If Jokic can stay healthy enough to stay on the court, then Denver, despite what they're saying about San Antonio, OKC, they might be drunk off winning the championship. Um, Denver should have beat them last year. So if they stay healthy, um, the Western Conference got a problem with the Nuggets. And we ain't said nothing about the Timberwolves. They're going to be on the couch with everybody else. All right. You own Denver? No, I don't think so, man. You might own them in the regular season, but it's just like a guy in the preseason trying to win a job. He think he got the veteran beat, but when it comes down to 2 or 3 plays that he got to make, the veteran make him look bad. Same thing with the Nuggets and the T Wolves. T Wolves, all of a sudden they can't make a shot when they count the most. Anthony Edwards, you can't count on him. You don't know what he's gonna do. Yeah, he'll make a play here and there. He might score 20 and 25 here and there, maybe 40. But when he has to do it, he ain't showed me he can do it. We'll talk to anything, man. I put them out back to back years. Who? Minnesota? Man, whatever, man. I tell you what, we'll see what happens this year. So you just make sure you don't disappear like you did last year, man. Let's see what else you got. Not just targeting, but roughing the passer is a bunch of, yeah, it is. You can't hit a quarterback nowhere. You hit him high, it's a penalty. Hit him low, it's a penalty. You fall on him, it's a penalty. I mean, goddamn, what can you do? Might as well hit him anyway. That's just to let him know that you playing the game. And he'll have to adjust to you, and he'll start looking for you if you hit him hard enough. It's just like anything, you have to keep the pressure on. All right. So I asked the question, do you think targeting is a good penalty for college football? Surprisingly, most of you, the majority, are saying it is. I don't think so, man. It's, like I say, I see form tackles being called for penalties, and it's hard to watch for a guy to get penalized on basic form tackling. If you can't form tackle, what can you do? I mean, like I said, I see guys letting people catch the ball and then try to tackle them at that point instead of being aggressive. You can't do nothing in football nowadays. And if you take the contact out of the game, then you don't have football anymore. So targeting is just a way to kill the game. And they have to adjust this, or people are going to start watching. Because literally, you can call a penalty on every play if you wanted to, because there's going to be some upper head contact, helmet to helmet. That's what the helmet is for. Not to use as a weapon, but incidental contact. So you don't get hurt. You just won't get hurt. Now, I've heard people say, well, if you go back to the leather helmets, then you won't have that problem. Well, the techniques will get a little bit better, but at the same time, there's still going to be people get hit. Back then, look at all the people with the broke noses and knocked out teeth. It's no different. It's going to be incidental contact with the head no matter what the player is wearing. But if you legislate contact out of the game, then you don't have a game. Just look at this Pro Bowl stuff when they play flag football. Yeah, this is a novelty act and people get excited about it. Some people do, I don't. But do you want to see that every week? Do you want to see every game in NFL with flags? That's the way it's going. And hopefully I don't live to see it. But I think at some point, NFL is going to become a flag football league, and it's going to be co-ed. Mark my words for that. All right. I got to get up out of here, man. D Nice, he's on a roll today. He's talking about the Nuggets can't beat the Timberwolves. I can't remember last year who put Denver out, but I thought pretty sure it was OKC that beat Denver in 7 games. That's what I thought. But he's delusional. Maybe I'm delusional because I got my facts wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Denver lost to OKC in 7 games last year. I don't think that Minnesota is ready yet. Anthony Edwards, I don't know what the team the way it's comprised now. I don't think he's good enough to carry the team on his back to a championship just by looking at the scoring lines and what the betting lines are and his production according to the betting lines. A lot of times he don't even make his number. So I don't see the consistency there for him to take a team to the championship. So if I'm wrong, D Nice, you let me know, man. But I know you're probably going now, but that's cool. But I appreciate you guys for chiming in with me. I got to get up out of here and go to work. And heard too many things about the NFL Combine. I think some guy set a vertical jump record, 43 feet or 43 inches or something like that. I got to research that, but I don't usually get tied up into those little minor things like that because all kind of it just don't excite me. I'm more interested in the game. You want to do the NFL or the star player drill stuff that all the time does not translate to the game. So I don't get excited about it. If that's you, then uh, power to you, pal. But anyway, I got to get up out of here, man. Appreciate you talking to me or talking with me today. What would you do for $5? What would I do for $5? I don't know. What would you do for $5? If it's legitimate, won't be nothing major. I tell you that. But anyway, you want to send me $5? Super chat me, man. I'll take that five. Go to Dairy Queen and get me a large vanilla cone or something. That's what I do with $5. What I do for it, I can't answer that. There won't be nothing major. That's for sure. But anyway, wherever you guys are in the world, have a great day. This has been Sports for Real with Coach Hall. If there's some breaking news, I'll come back on later on today. If not, probably see you guys Monday. But I'm looking to come on over the weekend also. Until then, wherever you are in the world, have a great day. And one last look at the poll. 70% of people on today says that targeting is good for college football. I thoroughly disagree. If you can't make a form tackle in college football, you don't have a game.